Hello everyone, welcome back to the Divine Speaker. If you're interested in playing the game yourself, links are in the description. I'm not sure if there is going to be an 18+ scene right at this moment. We'll see what happens. If it's not too descriptive, we will proceed. And if it is really kind of descriptive, that's going to be on my Patreon. I closed the door softly behind us and turned back towards Cyne. Already I could feel my cheeks heating up.
So, what now?
Oh, sorry, I got distracted by the music. New music? Have we heard this before? Maybe we have. Oh. Wow. In only a moment, his face was inches from mine and his legs wrapped around my waist. Wow, I barely managed to steady myself as he jumped into my arms. He pulled my face to his and parted my lips with his tongue, kissing me deeply. My hands crept over his back, holding him close to my body. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting. Time didn't stop, the world didn't suddenly fall into place. It was just hot and full of passion, as if nothing else mattered but feeling good. And I got lost in that feeling. Everywhere he touched felt burning hot, and any moment now it seemed as if my knees would give out and I'd collapse into a pile of bliss. I stumbled through the room blindly as Cyne moaned against my mouth until I eventually found the bed. I fell down, my body hanging over his. His bag was flung onto the perfect sheets, now crumpled by our bodies. Forgotten. Cyne looked up at me with a heat in his eyes, a hunger.
Stopping already?
Oh. Our lips connected once again, and Cyne quickly parted my lips with his tongue. It was deep, intoxicating. It made me feel like I could lose my mind from something as simple as a kiss. A second later, and my back was on the bed, with Cyne hanging over me. He flipped me over as if I weighed nothing, without even breaking the kiss. He grinded his hips against me, and a moan escaped my lips. Just Cyne's pleasure. He grinned down at me impishly.
You like that? I can stop if you don't. I do. I really like it.
Cyne kissed a trail at my neck before stopping to nibble my ear. My breath caught in my throat as he whispered to me hoarsely.
I think I know something you'd like even more.
Oh?
Huh?
He shuffled down my body, making sure to rub himself against me teasingly before kneeling on the floor by the bed. His hands crept up my legs, stroking closer and closer until his palm laid over my quickly hardening chicken. It's not too descriptive. Maybe we're in the clear. He stroked it lightly and leant his head against my thigh. It's only the first 5 minutes, guys. Hui, hui, hui. Looking up at me with big eyes.
Want to know what I'm thinking about? Yes.
Ooh.
Cyne.
Ooh. Ooh. My face. My face. Yeah, I'm fine. Ooh.
What do you think? Not bad? I think that might have been the best thing I've ever done. See? The wait was worth it. You didn't tell me I'd be this exhausted after. It's something to remember me by.
Oh no, this isn't gonna be the end of us. Of them.
Why? Where do you plan to go?
He wants you to stay.
Well, I can't stay out all night. If you forgot, I'm on house arrest. But...
I hugged him tightly to my body. He felt so small and fragile in my arms.
Screw it. I'm already in trouble. What's a little more? Surely you're ready for round 2 by now?
Oh, Cyne. I don't know if... maybe?
What? I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Even I don't have the energy for that. Maybe in the morning? Don't tell me you're embarrassed now, after all that moaning and thrusting and whatnot. Good night.
I pulled the sheets up over myself and the giggling Cyne. He snuggled in close, nestling his head in to rest in the nook of my neck.
Good night, Rain. That was fun. Really.
I drifted off to sleep, thinking on the tone of Cyne's words. Who are we seeing? Whose perspective are we going with? Is it still Rain's in the group, or is it someone else's? The streets of Sidcam were particularly lonely at night. The moonlight bounced off the snow, casting everything with a cold, eerie glow. No one walked the streets, choosing instead to be tucked up in their warm, comfortable beds. Well, that was nearly true. One man fought against the cold weather, trudging through the pure white snow. He watched the moon as he walked, and he thought. He never stopped thinking. He'd begun to wonder if it was even possible to not constantly be pondering, to constantly be pondering over or deliberating. Up ahead, a medium-sized, low-profile building came into view, the one he was looking for. From far away, he wondered if the one he left in there was also thinking about him. Why would he? He has other things on his mind, Nox and Soren. He approached the building and knocked 3 times sharply, making his presence known. A shuffling came from inside. Before the sounds of locks being unlatched, the door opened and he was face to face with a pink-haired man.
Hello, Soren. Did you miss me? Where's the brat?
What the? Ooh. Ooh, who are you? I remember seeing this character and like gushing over how they looked with a friend. Like, I felt like forever ago. Oh my goodness. They are very pretty.
As much as I'd miss any other pain in my behind, Titus is out. You know he doesn't appreciate you calling him that. Why did you leave your bird here anyway?
Oh, don't be so harsh. He doesn't like the cold.
You're far too attached. They don't live long, you know. You'll be devastated once he's gone.
Tell me about it.
Nonsense. We'll just have to go together, eh?
Running your mouth as usual. Take your bird and leave.
I like their voice too.
Yes, sir. Oh, how's he looking?
I still need to conduct some tests. I can't answer that yet. At the very least, he seems stable. His breathing is normal, he just won't awaken. I'll bring you the details tomorrow, if I must.
You know Hon, right? That cute baker down in the lower districts? Meet me there at midday tomorrow. The other ones I told you about will be waiting for us.
Fine. Now go away. I'm far too busy to be chatting with you.
Fine, fine. You're really no fun, you know that?
Oh, the blue bird hopped onto Illran's shoulder, and Cyren, names. My weakness. Answered him by slamming the door. He walked a distance from the doorway before speaking to the little blue bird who tweeted beside him.
How did it go, Veras?
Through various pecks, Veras managed to get his message across about what happened with Soren, but Illran still wasn't fully satisfied. Usually he wasn't so soft as to need Veras' human form beside him at all times. In fact, he'd gotten used to conversing with his bird form, but... Tonight he felt a loneliness that wouldn't cease, no matter how much he wished it away. When he didn't respond, the bluebird fluttered from his shoulder onto the ground, and in a poof of smoke, a naked man appeared.
Whoa, whoa, what are you doing? It's freezing!
The bluish.
You don't say.
A moment later, he was dressed in his poncho, thanks to Illran. He still shivered, his legs and feet uncovered.
Why did you do that? Change back! You can't walk through the snow like that!
Carry him. You are his husband. You are married. Carry him.
I don't want to. I feel like chatting.
Later, when we're back inside.
Later as well, then. I'm fine like this.
No, you're not.
He sighed and knelt down in front of Veras.
What are you doing?
Hop on. I'll carry you the rest of the way back. There we go. At least your feet won't fall off this way.
Veras snuggled in close, trying to steal as much body heat as he could.
It feels nice. Thank you, Illran. I can always depend on you.
You better appreciate it now. Once you're back up in the sky or whatever, you won't be able to be pampered by me anymore.
Oh. I think you gotta talk about your feelings. I'm gonna be devastated.
Illran, I've been wanting to speak to you about that. Eternity. It's a lonely, boring thing. To exist forever? Is there anyone that would want that, truly?
Oh my god, are you for real? Are they talking about it? Illran's breath stilled, not sure of where this was going. He's not going to tell me he wants to stay after all, is he? Kill him! Kill him!
To exist until the end of time, and after that too. I couldn't think of a worse fate, Illran. It's scary, too painful to even bear the thought of. I don't want to stay as a human forever, and I wish even less to stay as a god forever. I think that, perhaps, my time is coming, sooner than I'd originally thought.
What? What are you talking about?
You know, when I first got my human body, I felt like I had a purpose, to grow up with my family first and foremost, and then, after, to watch over my parents and my birthplace. But time takes everything. Everything except for me. I'm the only one that gets left behind.
Oh.
My parents died. My hometown doesn't even exist anymore. What purpose did I have then? Powerless as a god and worthless as a human being.
Oh. Veras.
You're not... You've never been worthless, Veras. It's just as I told you when we first met.
I wandered for hundreds of years with no place to call home. I had no reason to exist, no right to this body when I couldn't do anything for my followers. It was only when we met that I wanted to find Aurelia Cavella again. Before then, I'd already given up on ever being able to return. I thought that if I found them again, I could rejoin them, go back to being the god that I was before. I've had a long time to think, Illran, more time than anyone deserves, and it took me that whole time to work it out. Finding Aurelia Cavella and freeing my fellow gods won't fix everything. I don't intend to rejoin them. This is my final mission, and I will see my people freed. After I have that closure, it's
No.
time for me to pass on.
I'm gonna scream. Illran, you're gonna run. I'm having so many feelings right now. You can't be serious. This isn't how I wanted it to be. No, I know him better than anyone else. He's completely serious. His mind's been made up.
Old gods die, and new ones will take their place. There will be a new god of the harvest, and I hope they'll be able to do the things I was never able to do. Be the god that I could never be.
Veras, no one could ever take your place. You've earned it.
For once, Illran was glad that Veras was unable to see his face. His eyes watered up, threatening to overflow at any moment. Veras wrapped his arms even tighter around Illran.
You're far too kind to me.
Oh my god, you idiots!
I'll keep the memories we've shared close to my heart. Always and forever.
Oh my god, am I fucking this up? God, I never thought that this would be how it would end up when we met all those years ago. Never thought I'd become this attached. Perhaps if I haven't given him that push 7 years ago. Oh my god. A cool sea breeze blew through the dust-filled streets of Stagwich, carrying with it a familiar feeling of home. Market stalls filled the sides of the road, covering only by thin linen tarps. Wow. Illran reached under and pulled out an apple. Ha, you're too trustworthy here. Anyone could come by and rob them blind. A few people walked here and there, but none saw his thievery. He wasn't so dumb as to let himself be caught, especially not by people like him. He continued down the street, aimlessly throwing the apple up and down. A demon in Stagwich, huh? I've been here for 2 days already, but I haven't heard a single word about it. More false leads. The further he walked, the more run down the houses began to look. Yet candlelight would still be seen through the windows. They weren't abandoned, just well loved. Illran peered inside, happy families gathered around, laughing and eating, enjoying themselves despite having near to nothing. He ripped his eyes away and kicked a rock further down the path. Enjoy it while you still have it. A solitary figure walking a lonely road, just as he had been for many years. When his eyes finally left the ground, he spied someone kneeling on the pavement before a great statue, depicting a bird. As he approached, he found the statue not as great as he had first thought. Cracks and veins littered the stone, giving off the impression of being long abandoned. In front, an old man knelt, praying feverishly. Oh my god! It's a young Illran. Wow.
What are you doing, old man?
Huh. Oh, you surprised me.
He jumped up and whirled around, surprised at suddenly being called out to.
I'm praying to Veras that our next harvest will be bountiful.
Praying? What, to a god? Ugh, you've got to be kidding me.
It might sound silly to you, young'un, but that doesn't mean it's pointless. I've got to believe someone's watching out for me.
Blind faith in such a demonic being, it makes me laugh. The gods don't care about us. They hold no loyalty to us. They never have.
What's the point? He's not watching over you. He couldn't care less about what happens to people like us.
Whether he's watching or not, I don't know. But that won't stop me from praying, as I always have.
Ah, blind faith, my favorite. How often are you here, old man? Every day?
Just once a week. He's a fan of music, you know. So sometimes I sit by his statue and play him a tune. I'm the only one left to do it for him.
An old fool, so easily tricked.
Ugh, I really couldn't care less. I didn't ask for your life story.
Aye, you didn't ask, but you have the looks of a man that could use a little faith in life.
Illran scoffed, and the old man quickly departed, leaving him in the shadow of the statue. A little bit of faith, huh? Where were they when they let my mother die then? He looked up at the statue. With a smooth touch, he brushed the moss off of the plaque. Veras, god of the harvest. For 6 days it was much the same. Illran sat by the foot of the statue, panpipes in hand. He played for a few hours, softly and sweetly, but expected nothing in return. At times a blue bird landed in a nearby At times a blue bird landed in a tree nearby and listened to his music, watching intently. Illran found it strange, but not strange enough to think about it in depth. The notes rang through the night once again, echoing back hollowly. What am I doing? This is a waste of time. Perhaps it's better that the old man lives out the rest of his days in blissful unawareness and peace, thinking that his prayers will actually do something. Only my mind could so easily be put to rest. Wow. Tonight, no bluebird sat watching him, listening to his song. He played his tune to no one but himself. With a sigh, he resigned himself to give up. Standing, he dusted off and began to leave before he caught sight of something out of the corner of his eye. Pink, peach hair. Someone standing behind a tree close by, peering in his direction. Standing in the dark like that, a little creepy. Illran took a few steps forward, coming face to face with the mysterious man. He was a little disheveled and dusty, wearing loose-fitting rags for clothing.
What are you doing?
Oh, angry. The man's eyes went wide and he instantly turned and ran. Illran gave chase, following close behind him.
Hey, wait! Why are you running?
You're yelling at him, yo!
Leave me alone!
The peach-haired man put up a fight, but Illran was faster. He reached down and grabbed hold of his wrist, forcing him to a halt. Before Illran could open his mouth, the boy disappeared in a puff of smoke. He coughed and sputtered, fanning the mist away. A small blue bird fluttered through the smoke upwards, heading for the skies. Seeing this, Illran leapt forward, clutching the animal to his chest as he fell to the ground. The smoke appeared once again, but Illran wasn't fooled this time. He felt the human body under him and held fast. Once the smoke dissipated, he was greeted with the same peach hair, but he's naked. Leaving Illran confused on the ground, the man struggled out of his grasp and retrieved his clothes, quickly dressing. Illran jumped to his feet again, circling around.
You disgusting demon! Who are you? Answer me! Or am I that far beneath you, huh? You think you're so amazing? I know what you are. I know what you're like. Your kind ruined my life. You let my mother die. You killed her!
I've never met you before. Don't give me the blame for something I had nothing to do with.
You're meant to be that god, aren't you? Veras.
His eyes went wide, but he didn't utter a word.
Some god. Look at you. A shitty shrine in the middle of nowhere. Ha! It's almost funny. You're just a demon who's turned his back on all of us. You don't care, do you? You don't care even if we beg you. Even if we pray to you every day. You still ignore our pleas!
Goodbye. I don't have anything to say to you.
Running away? I'll kill you! I'll kill every last one of your kind!
He charged at Veras, dagger pulled from his boot. What? Before he had time to think, he was flipped over as if he weighed nothing, his back hitting the ground with a loud thud. The pain ran through his entire body, making his fingers go numb.
Is that it? Get up. Didn't you say you were going to kill me? Or are you nothing but talk? Don't come charging at me if you don't have the strength to follow it through.
Veras stood over Illran, his face dire. Is that how you say it? I don't know. Finally, from up close, Illran noticed something about the man. His eyes were blank, absent.
This is nothing. Does it feel good? Knowing that you're attacking the people you're meant to be protecting? Oh, that's right. That's what you do.
Oh, wow.
I'm defending myself. You're the one who won't leave me alone. Stop coming here and go home.
Oh my god. It's so good.
Home? I have no home to return to anymore. Now that I finally lured you out, demon god, I'll kill you. Even if I kill myself in the process. Tell me, am I right? Are you Veras?
Yes, my name is Veras, but I am no god. Not anymore. Don't try to find me again. I'll pretend this never happened.
Before he can turn away, Illran yelled loudly, making Veras jump.
Wait!
What am I doing? I don't have to tell him anything yet.
All you're doing is proving me right, you know. That old man, he really believes in you.
There's nothing left of me to believe in.
Come back here tomorrow. You'll see for yourself.
An instant later, and he was gone, lost somewhere in the shadows of the night. I finally met one in the flesh. But why did he seem so melancholic? Melancholy? What? How do I say this? I can never say this. As if every fiber of his being was riddled with despair. He's not what I expected to find, but he's still a god? A demon? Both? Illran weighed his options carefully, thinking back on his decision. What use was directing Veras back to the old man, anyway? There wasn't any, and yet... Illran cast the thoughts out of his mind and left the statue behind for the night, solving to return the next day yet again. A lone figure sat in front of a large statue, hugging his knees tightly. He stayed like this for a time, deep in thought. When his finger brushed against the cold stone of the statue, he found himself surprised. Someone had cleaned it. Where before moss was growing in abundance, it was now as smooth as the day it was placed there. I remembered that day all too well, how the people rejoiced and celebrated. How he observed from above, happier than ever. He had watched over the land for hundreds of years by then. People had come and gone, and Veras had seen all of it. But what now? Now I am nothing. I cannot watch over them or protect them. I am nearly powerless. What point is there continuing on like this, wandering from place to place with no real purpose?
All you're doing is proving me right, you know. That old man, he really believes in you.
No, I have no believers left. If I did, I'd know. I'd be able to hear their prayers, I'm sure of it. What did he want anyway? He's annoying. Well, he did play beautiful music, though. I'm sure he has some reason for hating us. After all, he's not wrong.
You don't care, even if we beg you, even if we pray to you every day, you still ignore our pleas!
Why did he hate us so much? What did I do to earn his ire? Shaking his head, Veras stood from his spot and reached upwards towards the statue. It was so close yet it felt further away than anything else.
What must I do to regain my purpose?
Today was much like any other day. Illran traveled from place to place, listening to gossip and swindling secrets. The life of a bounty hunter was hard, but it was the only thing he knew. It was an easy way to make money, and he only needed to risk his life every now and then. To him, this was a win-win situation. Going out in a blaze of glory, well, it certainly sounded appealing to him. Illran raised his hand up to shield his eyes from the blazing sun. It was already past midday and unbelievably hot. Well, I read "it's time" in my brain, and then it just went. It's time. I wonder if he'll show. He made his way back down the same path as he walked all week. As he came closer, he noticed someone. Veras stood behind a tree, watching the old man pray with all of his heart. He looked as if he wanted to approach, but kept stopping himself. Illran stayed back, watching the scene unfold. Eventually, Veras stepped out from behind the tree and stood by the praying man, who quickly scrambled to his feet to greet him.
Oh, sorry for taking up all the space, young'un. You here to pray too?
You pray to a god?
Of course. To Veras.
But why?
Always have, always will. Growing up, my entire family would gather here to pray. Other families, too. I'd say half of Stagwitch basically lived at this statue. We'd celebrate with music, marvel at the blue wrens that would gather by the statue. It was wonderful. What I'd give to go back to that time.
You still believe in him? Don't you worry that he isn't watching out for you anymore?
Oh, I'm too old to be worrying about something like that. Even if his gaze is turned elsewhere, I know that he's out there somewhere, doing good. My children and grandchildren don't believe in Veras, and my wife died, must be 10 years ago now. But I still come here every Sunday and pray. It reminds me of those happy times. You seem like you're a little lost, and that's all right. Sometimes you have to lose yourself before you can find yourself, after all.
Oh no. I'm gonna cry.
Anyway, I'll be moving on. About time I got supper on.
The old man nodded at Veras and left, returning back to his home. Oh no! Baby boy! There in front of the statue was suddenly quiet. Aron finally came out from his hiding place and approached Veras. Only as he came closer did he begin to hear what started as muffled sobs and quickly became flooding tears. He collapsed to his knees, staring up at the statue.
He's the first one I've met in over a century. A real believer. I've never heard his prayers. Not a single one. I'm not a real god anymore. I'm just nothing. Even to people like them. To that old man and his wife, who had so much faith in me. I couldn't help them. I couldn't protect them. Why? Why must I exist? How could I possibly overcome this pain?
Why does he seem so heartbroken? Is he actually... I'm crying.
Do you take his belief in you for nothing?
He whipped around, eyes fixated on Illran, even if he couldn't see.
What?
He's putting all of his belief into you, not anyone else. And this is how you're repaying him?
What else am I meant to do? I'm powerless to do anything. You wouldn't understand. There's no point in trying anymore.
I don't know what you're going through. That's true. But there is something I do know. Achieving your goals is never impossible unless you want it to be. You can find your purpose.
At that moment, Veras looked more vulnerable than ever, but something changed. It was as if a weight had been lifted off his shoulders just from being told something so simple.
You're right. There is something I can do.
He stood and wiped away his tears with a look of determination.
Where are you heading?
I don't wish to fight you anymore. Please.
I'm not looking for a fight. I asked where you were going.
Within his eyes, a fire was now lit. I want to help him regain what he lost. Maybe in the meantime, I'll also be able to learn a thing or two.
I'm going to save my people and become a god once again.
That sounds like a difficult task.
I don't know where to start, honestly.
Perhaps you could use someone with a knack for solving problems then.
You may be right. I'll have to ask around.
So, you can turn into a bird.
I can?
I'll help you on 2 conditions.
What would they be?
1, you tell me the truth about the gods. And 2, you help me with my bounty hunting.
My journey may be long. It may even be never-ending.
Well, I have a lot of spare time on my hands anyway. I could use something fun to do. Plus, I've been looking for a bounty hunting partner.
And that's their first meeting. Ah. And just like that, we went from enemies to companions. It's kind of embarrassing remembering how I acted back then. Yeah, I was so ignorant, so cocky. As we traveled together, inching closer and closer to finding a relic Havela, we found that we got along well. More so than anyone else I've ever met, despite our differing personalities. He was both kind and funny, self-sacrificing and good-natured. Before I realized it, we were already inseparable. Or, that's what I thought.
Illran?
I'm fine. Just tell him, Illran. I swear to God, I know you don't want to be selfish, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, of course. If that's what you want, then I'll help you achieve that.
For 7 years we've been together. To think that could be taken away so suddenly. Faced with the uncomfortable future, Elrond had one thing on his mind. One thing he'd strained to bury, but kept resurfacing. I love him.
We're gonna stop there, everyone. I'm probably gonna go cry. If you are interested in playing this game yourself, I have links in the description. If you want to see that content, head over to my Patreon. Subscribe if you haven't. Look, I used to not do this, and I'm like, I want to get to this 500 subs so I can finally tell you on those community tab that would be unlocked at 500 subs when something's gonna be like late and when I'm taking a break. So I'm not leaving you hanging. Or for now, you can check out my Twitter every once in a while to be like, why isn't there a video? It'll be on my Twitter. I'll announce it on my Twitter. My Twitter will say, hey, yeah, stuff happened. But yeah, links, description, check it out. Hopefully I'll see you anywhere in those places, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.